Welcome to Good Morning Cereal with Macerio, and I am your host Macerio, and let's get into it. So, this weekend we had very interesting competition at the Tacoma Dome for the WIAA Hardwood Classic. And man, it was some good stuff that went on. Let's start first with the 3A boys. So the 3A boys, the semifinals, the first one was O'Day against Eastside Catholic, and O'Day coming in as the 11th seed, and Eastside Catholic coming in as the 1 seed. Well, Eastside, they didn't play up to their par as they were knocked out by O'Day 49-41. And who led the way for O'Day was Paulo, where he had he had 20 points and he had 7 rebounds. And alongside of him, his teammate Noah also contributed with double-digit scoring as well. Now, for this, it's kind of like a hit or miss because a lot of people felt like, O'Day kind of got favored in the game with a lot of calls and stuff. But in reality, I mean, Paulo came to play. He's ranked number 3rd in the state in his class, and he's ranked top 5 in the country for his position. And so a guy like him, he's very nice. He's a great player. He's a very intimidating factor in the paint. And so, Eastside Catholic, they just couldn't contain with him, and it felt like they were a little intimidated. They were scared to do a lot of things. They got away from their game. They didn't, try to score a lot in the paint. They looked for a lot of outside shooting, and that ended up costing them in the game. But that's not even the big news of that day. So the game after that, the Rainier Beach game against Mount Spokane. Now, Rainier Beach came in as the 3 seed, and Mount Spokane came in as the 2 seed. So if you think about it, they're thinking, well, Mount Spokane's a 2 seed. They're supposed to advance and play the 1 seed, the title game, as everybody would think. And, that's what they did. They gave it to Rainier Beach. I'm not going to lie. They gave it to them all night. They gave it to them, They, they gave it to them, and it's just funny because it's like people were complaining, saying that, it was the referee's fault, why Mount Spokane won. But in reality, Mount Spokane led by double digits the whole game until about the second half of the 4th quarter. Then Rainier Beach, they made a great run, and they got the lead cut to 3. But then, they started losing their temper, started getting technical fouls, and, Mount Spokane shot 6 straight free throws because of that. With about 2:30 left in the game, they lost their cool player, their star player, Marjan Beauchamp. He got a technical foul. The coaching staff, they got technical fouls. Everybody was losing their head, and they end up losing 65-60. And, they were one of the favorites to, go to the championship and possibly win in some people's eyes. But, hey, Mount Spokane, they were ranked higher than them for a reason. And I honestly think that, coming into that game, they overlooked their opponent. The Rainier Beach, talking to a lot of sources from there, they were very confident that it would be an easy win heading to the state title game to where they thought they would even play Eastside Catholic. And they just didn't show up. The first play of the game, it was a fast break. Mount Spokane stopped in the dime, splashed a 3. Second play of the game, they forced a turnover on Marjan Beauchamp, and they got 3-point play. By that time, you have to tell your players, slow down. Slow down, play your game. But they were just all out of it. It seemed like everybody was out of it. And, they're not really a team, in my opinion, that could play from behind. And they were behind the whole game. It was a wire-to-wire victory for Mount Spokane. And it was just, it's just funny because, talking to a lot of people from the Rainier Beach side the next day, they felt that it was more of a color thing. And my thing is, it's not a color thing. Those boys came to play. You didn't do nothing to stop them. So it can't be a color thing. It's just they came to play, and they played harder, and they outplayed you in every aspect of the game. And yeah, you could blame the refs for the 6 straight free throws, at the end of the game that helped Mount Spokane put it away when you made a run. But at the same time, you dug yourself a hole. You were in a double-digit hole the whole game. That's on you. That's on you. Can't nobody say nothing but you. That's to do with the players, the coaching, and everything else that goes along with it. It looked like they were just out there just playing. I didn't see no sets. It looks like 3 people were in zone and 2 people playing man. That's not championship recipe. You guys were all whack. Not whack, but you guys were all out of whack. And so it's just like, well, that's what happens. When you guys are playing off, you're playing off. It was no sense of urgency. You waited till the 4th quarter to turn it on. How does that happen? So, they had a good season. And then that same energy they brought on Friday, they brought that same energy on Saturday against Eastside Catholic in the 3rd place / 5th place game where Eastside Catholic jumped out to a 10-0 start. They were up 34-19 at the half. Come on, man. You guys just beat Eastside Catholic, but about 5 weeks ago? You let them jump out to a 15-point halftime lead and expect to win that game. And then you lost by about 15. So it's like, come on, man. You guys can't play far. You guys can't play behind. And to me, honestly, it looked like you guys just quit. It looked like they just quit. You beat them just 5 weeks ago. You have the number 1 player in the state on your team at Marjan Beauchamp. Or number 2, however you want to call it. Come on, man. You guys got to do better than that. Where's the leadership? You guys got to pick it up. You got to pick it up. And it's funny because actually the source from Rainier Beach, they thought that Federal Way got robbed just like they did. And when in all reality, their star player as well, and Jaden McDaniels, he came into the 4th quarter with 2 fouls. In the beginning of the 4th quarter, he got back-to-back fouls, in which they were good calls. Now, if I'm the coach, my guy has 4 fouls, we're up in the game, I'm going to sit him for, a couple minutes, a minute or 2, maybe 3, to calm him down, let the guys play, and get him back in there and get his head right. They let him play it out, boom, fouled out. Fouled out, then you lose the game. And then people are saying it's the referees and because they didn't want to see, these certain schools win and, take over and this and that. Come on, man. Just like my dad always says, excuses are buttholes. Everybody has one. Everybody has one. Just man up. Take it on the chin. You lost. You lost. And so, that was, really the story on Friday. And so it's just like, I don't know. I think personally it was good basketball. Reverting back to the Rainier Beach game, I just think, they made a run a little too late. You didn't have no sense of urgency. When they jumped out to a 15-point lead, I'm calling timeout. It's no player just playing through this. Clearly, you guys are getting spanked on both sides of the ball. Stop the game, make some adjustments, get in some subs, do what you got to do. So come on, I hope they learn from it. Hope they come back stronger and harder next year. But they didn't play like they wanted it. Mount Spokane, they came out hungry. Hungry. They came out hungry. So that was that. And then now, getting into the championship game, everybody expected, the Mount Spokane once again to come out with a victory. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. Going into the first quarter, it was back and forth, with O'Day and Mount Spokane. But then at some point, going into the second quarter, O'Day started to pull away a little bit, and they went into the halftime with a 25-18 lead. And so it's like, okay, it's still a game, 7-point game, But then they came out on fire. They came out on fire. They outscored Mount Spokane, what? About 45-20 in the second half? They outscored them by 25. They came out hungry. Paolo was on the mission. Noah was on the mission. Those boys were not playing. They were not playing at all. They were just clowning. They were doing everything and above. Crossover, step back, alley-oops, taking it to the hole, just bodying their opponent. They were just imposing their will on them and let them know that, hey, we're here. We're here. All these other Metro teams, they may have choked or did what you had to do. You may have beat Rainier Beach, but you're not going to beat us. You're not going to beat us, not today. And so I want to say personally, congratulations to O'Day. They had a great season. They played some worthy opponents, along the way. They took some lumps, in the season. They actually lost about 4 or 5 in a row. So they had an up and down season, but they turned it on when it mattered. When it mattered the most, they turned it on. Congratulations to my man Takeo. Takeo got his first ring as a freshman, man. That's great. That's great, man. I'm happy for him. And, let's get to the girls' side. The girls' side actually had Mount Spokane in the championship game, just like the boys. Where they went through Garfield High School in the Final Four, and they edged them out 52-46, while holding Garfield's girls to just 2 points in the second quarter. Now, same thing I just said about Rainier Beach. If there's a run happening like that, you got to call a timeout. It's no way in the world they score 13 points. Mount Spokane scores 13 points in the second quarter, and we score 2? 2 points? Come on, man. Come on, man. You got to do better than that. You have to. It's no excuse. You're not going to win a basketball game scoring 2 points in a quarter. That's not going down. It's not going down. And so, hey, they could have had the win. They've had many chances in the game. They blew it. A lot of missed layups, missed free throws at the end. Everything was a disaster. A disaster waiting to happen happened. And they lost it. They lost it, and they could have won it. And so, it set up a great matchup between Mount Spokane and Prairie, the 1 and 2 seeds. And man, was that a game. That was a game. Mount Spokane, they came out on top. They were not playing with Prairie. It was back and forth. Same thing how O'Day did to Mount Spokane. They pulled away a little bit in the second quarter, and they left intermission with a 7-point lead, 26-19 heading into the half. Jada Noble, she had all of her points in the first half. All of her points in the first half. She shot 4 of 8, had 10 points. That second half, it got real. That Prairie defense got real. They kept her out of the paint. When she did get in the paint, every shot was forced. There was nothing clean. She shot 0 of 5, including missing her final 3 shots under 2 minutes left that could have sealed the game. They lost the game 37-35. And that's one of the state best players too. And so it's like, man, adjustments. Same thing. They didn't pull her out of the game the whole second half. My thing is, if I see my girl like, if I see they're tired, I'm calling timeouts. I'm not waiting until it's just fourth quarter, we're losing or it's tied. Let me, call these timeouts, make adjustments. Nah, you have to do it thoroughly throughout the game. And so I feel like these coaches that came up short, I feel like it was more so them being out-coached, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of these coaches were being out-coached, and they weren't playing the game like they were supposed to, or the game plan. The other teams made adjustments, and it seemed like they didn't know how to respond to these adjustments. And so, once again, congratulations to Prairie. They came in with the 1 seed, and they thug thizzle. They won it all. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to O'Day. And one more thing before I get out of here. So, just getting back to the Rainier Beach and Mount Spokane game, there's a close source of mine that says, how do I put this? Pretty much Mount Spokane came into that game very prepared for Rainier Beach. They knew everything they were going to do, when they do it, how they do it. Let's say they came in about a couple weeks prepared for Rainier Beach. And that's about as far into it as I'm going to go. And there you have it. The WIAA Hardwood Classic Championship Summary for 3A boys and girls. Thank you for listening to Morning Cereal with Macerio. You guys have a blessed day. One love.